All right, guys. Well, we're back for another episode of Off the Clock with Powder Slayer. This time, I got my man Kody Overcash with me, and
Yes, sir.
he's got some things moving. Let me tell you what. He's gonna retire by 35 years old. Let's go. So,
Trying to.
Kody, what's up, brother? How's your
Oh
day
man,
going?
I'm doing good, man. We were busy today. Lots of permits, lots of work out there at the field. Hopefully it wasn't as
Yeah.
bad for you though.
Well, I'm on days off, so
Oh, even
I'm
better.
chilling. So, how is it down there for you guys? Because the last I worked was last year. Crazy that we're already in
Yeah.
2026, but it was pretty slow going. Are you guys slow down there in Texas or what?
Oh no, not at all. I mean, our producers,
Well, so
they're
we're in
planning to.
different parts of the oil
Yeah,
field
very
as
different.
well. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're in the Dakota, right?
Correct, yeah. And I'm,
Yeah.
on a workover rig servicing wells, and you're in what, midstream, right?
Yeah, I'm in
Production.
midstream. We see I think I actually have 8 workovers on the ranch that I work on right now. So there's a ton of work going on here in the Permian. But yeah, we're projected, for a few hundred wells between a few producers, bringing down gas plants from Oklahoma, North Texas, building new compressor stations. I think we're building like 300 million cubic feet or compressor stations between two of
Wow.
them. So yeah, we're getting ready for a big year. Hopefully it's as big as we're looking forward to.
Yeah, I thought 2025 was going to be that for us. And we
Mhm.
started off real strong. We were going good. And then everything just kind of took a shit.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it
so
kind of just tanked out of nowhere.
it's crazy, dude. And everybody's looking for jobs, and there's just not much going on up there. It's not,
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if it's ever a terrible time to get into oil field, but it's definitely more difficult than even in the 3 years that I've been in the oil field. It's a little bit more difficult to get into it right now. But
Yeah. For sure. I
so
like to tell
is
people
that
it's
a
like
Kansas
buying a.
City Chiefs glass I see there?
It is, yeah.
Oh, God. What do you think about your boy Mahomes?
I was really upset that he tore his ACL, but it was a rough year altogether. I'm really hoping we go into next year. Hopefully with him on IR, land another good draft pick. Probably just play with the third string quarterback for the rest of the year. I think
So,
it'd be good.
is Kelsey done or what? You think T Swift let him come back?
If he's done, then I really hope that they let Mahomes sit for a year. Right.
Yeah.
I think if he's done, Mahomes sits for a year, you trade away Chris Jones, trade away Trent McDuffie, get a lot of draft capital, and then you're ready to go, and Mahomes has a year of rest. I
So you
think I
want to
think that'd be good.
you want to restart?
Complete reset, right? And then you come right back into the playoffs with Mahomes. That'd be the
Well,
goal.
we'll see. We'll see, dude. I just I'm a Seahawks fan, and
Uh-huh.
God, it's been a pleasure watching the Chiefs just burn this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people on your side of it.
But it's the same thing of like the Patriots back in the day with Tom Brady. You love to
Yeah.
hate him,
And
and
they
it's
get like
just
2 years off, and then they're right back in the playoffs, potentially winning another Super Bowl. It's like, you gotta be kidding me, man. You can't escape it.
it was relentless with
Yeah.
him, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, um, so kind of why we're here today, just in my podcast, what I like doing is I bring on other creators who are making waves in the scene, and I like to ask you guys kind of what got you started, where you're at today, and what are your plans for the future. Because I mean, you've been popping off the entire time I've been on TikTok.
Yeah.
You were one of the bigger names that I've seen up there, and congratulations on that. It's not
I
easy.
appreciate it. No, it's definitely not easy. And I was posting TikToks for I want to say about a year and a half. I think I got TikTok in like 2020 or something and then kind of went away from it. But I was posting like country music content for a while. And
Uh,
then I got on one day and I saw a video from Motivational Coach Dev. And he just said, "Man, I think the oil field is one of the best things for a young man to do," and just started talking. And I was like, "Yeah, 100%." I'm sitting in the field. I just launched a pig. I'm sitting there watching TikTok before I take off back to my compressor stations. And I heard that, and I was
yeah.
like, "Man, I need to make a video like that." So I just started talking, basically stole his first line. I try to give him as much credit as I can.
Mm,
Because I said, oil field's the best way to get your life started, best opportunity. Started talking, and it got like 400,000 views, right? First time I talked about the oil field. And I was like,
right off
okay.
the.
I was like, people are interested in this. And, I started getting how do I get in? What company should I look for? What's your position? And from there, I would just start answering questions, right? And now I can kind of lean away from it because I've kind of built up a big following, surprisingly, in the last year
Dude, you've grown
since
really
March.
fast this year. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I went from like 2000 in February to I think we're at like 82, 83. My second account's got like 36 on it. So I'm over 100,000 followers total in a year just from
Yeah.
posting every single day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And like that's all you see on TikTok is they say like show up, be consistent. I mean, it's a lot easier said than done. I mean, I
Yeah.
started in what was it, March,
Mhm.
and I used to not like TikTok. And then I got started because my fiance makes videos and I wanted to watch her videos and it got
Yeah.
slow. And I posted a video, and I mean, it did pretty decent. It was just a video of me latching pipe, and
Mhm.
it did pretty decent. And so I was like, all
People
right,
love that.
well, oh
Yeah.
yeah. But the interesting thing about the latching videos is people love to like them, but that's it. There's no interaction with it. They don't want to
Mhm.
follow you because you latch pipe. I noticed
Yep.
with me, I started getting the followers when I started, talking a little bit like you, and now I'm doing this, lip sync comedy. Everybody wants to laugh, but
Yeah.
um yeah, motivational coach Dev, he's a good one. I'm trying to get him on here. Him and I are going back and forth. Oh, we've gone back and
He's
forth probably
awesome,
five
dude.
or six
Yeah.
times. Yeah. The problem is he doesn't have a schedule, and so we're just at the mercy of he's got, when he's got free time. But
Yeah. Yeah. Dev's
apparently he
busy, man.
started on the rigs, and so
Really?
now he's doing what he's doing now. But yeah, he actually worked at the same company that I currently work at. That's how he
There you go.
started. Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, no, TikTok though, it's crazy, dude. It's just the potential behind it is what caught my eye. It's just like not saying like it's 100% why you do it, but I mean it is
Mhm.
kind of
It's a nice
it's
incentive.
yes, and along the lines of everything that you're trying to do, retire by the time you're 35, which that's crazy, dog. For me, that's 2 years off. To be in a position that would be awesome. But it's just one of those revenues of income. Just having all
Yeah.
those different revenues.
And man, it used to be significantly better. I was just telling Brandon Mendoza, the real estate agent I got, I was telling him when I was sitting there looking at a house, I was like, man, my highest payout from TikTok was like the first month I got paid. It was $4,500 in a month, strictly off views, no TikTok shop, no brand deals, views. And I said, then they sold TikTok. And now it's come way down, like almost I'm getting like 10% of that per month off each account. But I mean,
Damn.
it's free money, it's views, right? I don't sell anything, I don't sell courses, anything. It's just from the
Mhm.
views. But
Yeah.
it used to be significantly better.
Yeah. No, I've heard that once the sale happened, it kind of changed,
Yeah.
the American dream took over.
Yeah, I'm almost doing like 4 to 5 times the amount just in brand deals, which I never like wanted to do, but they're showing
Mhm.
up. You get a following, all of a sudden people are reaching out to you. And it took me a while to like set my rate for videos and all the creator influencer stuff. I hate that word, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a difficult thing to navigate for the first time. But I had a couple guys like Spencer Lewis. I think his thing is the Wetland Gypsy on here. He's like a duck hunter influencer. When I
Uh-huh.
first got like 20,000 followers, he reached out to me. He's like, dude, if you got any questions, let me know. Right. He had like 100,000 followers at the time. And I asked him a handful of questions and just kind of set my path from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of in the point now where it's like I'm getting a lot of like PR, I think they call it. Like people
Mhm.
will send me stuff.
Yeah.
But my next step is moving to where you have a rate of they send you something and you're like, I'll do it, but it's going to be for this rate.
Yeah.
Because they'll send you everything they want, but then, where's your cut that you're going to get from it? And yeah, I remember the first couple times that a dude, they called me an influence. They were like, "Yeah, I got a couple influencers trying out my stuff," and I'm like, "Oh God." But
Yeah,
I mean, if
it's a
you think
weird
about it,
feeling.
bro, we're influencing used products. So,
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the first few things I got sent, I never asked for a rate or anything because they're like, "Can we just send this to you?" And I was like, "Yeah," that they didn't ask for a video or nothing. But as soon as they started asking, "Hey, can you review this? Can you talk about this? Can you maybe make us a video talking about this thing?" I'm like, "All right, this is where you got that rate's got to step in, right?"
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So are
100%.
they reaching out to you on TikTok or like emailing you, or how do they usually reach out?
They're almost all on TikTok. I believe Cattleman's Cut originally reached out to me on Instagram, but they found me on TikTok. And I think they just went to my link tree and found me on Instagram from there. But everybody
Uh-huh.
else has reached out through TikTok for me.
Yeah. So have you
Yeah.
done very much on the shop?
Yeah, I've done a good bit, especially with like Veritas FR. Done a
The
good bit with
Veritas is
them.
awesome. That is a
Yeah.
genuinely good product that I do enjoy to push.
100%. Yeah, and the owner, he's out in the oil field with everybody. I
Yeah,
think that's
Mark's a
pretty
good guy.
cool. Yeah, when you put on these bigger companies, FR and stuff, you're just a number. You're just a sale somewhere at Boot Barn or Tyndale or
Yeah,
something. But when it comes to smaller companies like Mark with Veritas or Nate just started Hasco and he's selling those safety glasses, I like to
yeah.
support those guys. As much as possible. I like to make sure that they get their part. Trying to help out everybody else and make a cool product.
Well, because if you think about it, they were me and you before me and you. They had a plan, started somewhere, and yeah,
100%.
now they're actually something. I mean, yeah, again on that Veritas stuff, I mean, it's genuinely good
Yeah.
clothes for a inexpensive price. And so I mean, I was down with that. He was the first guy to reach out for me. Him and 40 Rigs. I don't know if you've heard of that guy.
Mhm.
He's up in Canada.
I
He's
don't think
like a
so.
little bit different. He does like more custom stuff, but what's awesome is in the back here, he has like an insert for like heating or cooling pads, which I think
Oh,
is
gotcha.
super cool. The only problem with that I've ran into is I get a bill from FedEx when he sends me things.
Oh, really?
So that's a
It's like a
that's a
collect
little hard
call?
to that's a little hard to swallow because it's again across the border and stuff. But
Yeah.
um, so I mean, was this your plan when you started TikTok? Is this why you started it, or?
No, absolutely not. I never once thought that it would ever be anything, right? Like I'm
Mhm.
posting country music content and hunting memes and stuff like that for like a year and a half, then just kind of gave it up. Wasn't doing nothing, right? You get a few thousand views here and there, but I had the same situation that you had starting out, right? Like you're doing something and people are liking it, you getting hundreds of thousands, tens of thousand views, whatever, and they're not following. And I
Uh-huh.
found that, and like you said, once you become authentic, you're talking, you're getting on here and you're talking, or you're showing your humor, whatever. That's when followers come in.
Yep.
And I like to tell people, there's a handful of questions I ask myself with every video. Am I being relatable, entertaining, or informational, right? Educational. If I can be one of those things or two or more of them, right? If I can be funny and give you a piece of information you want, that's when you start building following because they're like, okay, this person did something for me. I'm going to give them a follow rather than like,
That's the
oh,
key
that's
right
funny.
there.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, that's
They're
funny meme
investing
or whatever,"
something.
but yeah, you can
Mhm.
get memes anywhere. You can get a lot of your like lip sync stuff and everything. People dancing on here and they're like, "Oh, I can't build a following." You're not giving anybody anything. You want to get on here
Yeah.
and get your applause and move on, and people don't want to give you their applause if they don't know you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's other things I've heard too is like, a follow is an investment and, they're not going to invest overnight. So most of the time when you have somebody follow you, they've been watching you and they've been watching
Yep.
and watching and watching. And then finally they're like, I've seen Cody 20 times on my FYP. I
Yep.
think he's now worth my time to follow and invest into him. And I mean, I'm sure you feel this as well, but I have like a core group of people that like and interact with almost every one of my videos, and I can point them out. And I mean,
Yeah.
they've been here since day one.
Yeah,
So
especially early on, right? Like when you're only getting a handful of notifications, you're like, "Oh, this person shows up a bunch." It's very, very noticeable. And now it's like I only get to see those when it comes to like you or Eli or somebody because those stand out in the notifications bar, right? So that you have
Uh-huh.
like your X, Y, and Z, and 50 others liked it, and then Eli liked it, or Powder Slayer liked it, and you're like, okay, there's my guy. You know, he's always been here, and
Yeah.
that's pretty cool to see. And once you get those going, and I found, especially when you say they've seen your videos a lot, you can watch it in your notifications sometimes. Like a dude will like a video, and then like 7 minutes later he likes another one. It's like, okay, you didn't go to my page to see that. It popped back up, and then you get a follow, and you're like, thank you, dude. Like you owed it to me on the first one, and you came back. I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or when you have, such and such watched your video, and then it's like they liked 5 posts, and then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool. Well, and then typically you'll see them show up in the follow, you know. But
Yeah.
I appreciate those people for sure. That they're just coming in and out every day. I mean, there's uh oh gosh, I can't think of his name right now, but there's a guy who shows up on I he's a mutual follower between us. I know he follows
Mhm.
Eli. I wish I knew his name right now. But he always hits him with them get after him hand or something. But he's doing it on everybody's profile, dude. So it's
Yeah.
just this he's like a pusher who just sits out there and watches TikToks all day. It's hilarious.
I love that. Yeah, I had a dude for a long time that would he would comment, and I'd always have to go find it, right? Because usually they try to filter the mean comments at the bottom, and it always say
Yeah.
you got soft hands, brother. But like from day one, he's been doing that on almost every post of mine, and I always go in there and like it. I'm like, dude, I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and also something too is it's the haters that pay your bills, or it's the haters that fuel your
Yep.
growth. Like some of my biggest videos are because an argument starts. And then it's just like, and then the best ones are when they start arguing with each other, and then all of a sudden they don't even know why they're arguing. It's
Yep.
just your videos
It
just
just
playing
keeps
over and
going.
over and over and over
Yep.
in the background.
And
But
it's all keywords, they're arguing about one specific thing. If you ever look at your analytics too, you can see
oh
certain
yeah, I read
keywords.
about
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So they'll all pop back up when people search those things like real estate or blue collar or whatever. They'll pop back up. You get a lot of people that say, "Oh, how can I get an entry level oil field job?" And then every time somebody searches that, those videos are right at the top because you got
Yeah.
150 people asking about it.
Well, because the new thing, I guess, is TikTok and all these other platforms are moving to searchable content. They
Mhm.
want they w- they want you to be making videos so that they're searchable, because what all these apps want to be is they want to be a Google. They want to be
Mhm.
a search engine.
Yeah, it
And
keeps people
so
on the app.
exactly. Yep. And
Yeah.
then I mean now it's shopping, it's all in one encompassing. It's crazy what TikTok started at to what it is now. I wish now that I started it now, I wish I would have started it when it first started,
Oh yeah, you're
because
not
it's
the only
just like,
one.
oh, those guys that got in at the beginning, are you kidding me?
Like you can only imagine. So like my first payout, I think I finished that month at like 30,000 followers, and it was almost 5 grand. Can you imagine what these people were doing from the start of TikTok, and they're getting millions of views?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean these people were
That's where the
raking in
Ferraris come from.
millions of dollars, man. Not even including brand deals and all that fun stuff, but just off views alone,
Yeah.
millions of dollars. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my first goal with TikTok was just to get I started watching you guys and seeing how you were getting deals and stuff. And my first goal, which I've accomplished, was just to get stuff for work. You know,
Yeah,
I hardly pay for anything for work anymore. And so
that's
that in
awesome.
itself is saving me how much money,
Yeah. Yeah, I got like
And
4
then when
pairs of boots for free. Yeah, it's awesome.
yeah, when you get plugged in with the right people, they're like, "Yo, you need some clothes? Just let me know." It's not like,
Yeah.
"Here's this for this," or "Here's this for this video." It's when you need more, let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I am with, like, Cattlemen's. Cattlemen's hit me up not too long ago, and they're like, "Do you need another, like, supply crate?" I'm like, "Do y'all need another video? Like, what why are you asking me this?"
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So another big part that you get into is in the investing side. That's
Mm.
selfishly, I want to be better at that. So like, how did you come up with the goal that you're going to buy a house every year? That's crazy. But not only are you buying a house, if I understand you correctly, you're using the previous house to buy the next house, correct? And so you're just rolling
Yeah.
debt in debt.
Yeah, that's yeah, it takes a little while to get up to that point. I think I did a video where I was explaining, because there's some guys that do real estate investing and they buy a house and they pay it off, right? That's
Uh-huh.
their goal. They buy one house, pay it off, buy another. I don't like that. And the way that we did the math is if you made about $500 off each house, by year 5 out of 10, your house's profit would buy another house for you. So then you're buying two houses, right? And then
Uh-huh.
by year 2.5 after that, so 7.5, you're now buying three houses because those other houses can pay for another, right? I think that's how the math went. So then the person who was buying one house per year didn't pay off that house until year 10. And then year 11, they're able to buy another. And yeah, they're making 1,500, but this other person's making 2,700, 2,800 per month or something, right? So my goal is to scale, and to do that. Well, I'll answer your first question. Like, how did I decide to do that?
Yeah.
Um, I had this theory that, like, okay, I have this lifestyle that I want, right? I want a big house. I want all my family nearby, family compound out in the country somewhere. I was like, how do I
Mhm.
how do I even get to that point, right? Like, there's no way $100,000 a year, $150,000 a year is going to cover that. So I was like, okay, I have this lifestyle that is currently out of my means. How do I get to that point? And that's what I try to teach people: is if you want to learn how to invest, find your lifestyle that you want, find whatever it costs, and then invest until you get to that point. And there's lots of different ways to go about it, right? Like, making $10,000 a month with a business isn't as difficult as doing it with dividends, right? It's just a little bit
Uh-huh.
more work. So sometimes you're trading sweat equity for, cash flow or whatever, or you could throw a whole bunch of money at something to make the same kind of money. So it's either you're
Mhm.
working for it or you have a ton of money. And real estate is kind of that happy medium for me, right? I can work really hard at my job. I take the profits from that, I turn it into real estate, and those slowly build up over time. So that's kind of where I've got that, 10 houses, 10 years at a minimum, is because it's very feasible, right? I can save up $30,000 in a year and then go buy a house 20% down, and that's making me 500 a month. Well, the next 30,000 is significantly easier to save up because I'm making more money, right? I'm making
Yeah.
500 times 12, but $6,000 a month, or $6,000 a year more every single year. It's basically like getting a pay raise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now, how old were you when you bought your first house?
I was 22. I was working for Spartan Companies, 1414. I was making $76,000 a year. Bought my first house. I could afford a $300,000 house, and I bought a 150. I actually negotiated it down to 140. And
Oh,
then
okay.
when I got my pay raise, right, and then I started making more than six figures, I was able to buy more house, right? I was able to buy like $250,000 worth of house, bought my next house, rented out the first one. That clears it off my debt, and then I can go buy another. So that's how it
Oh,
kinda stacks up, right? Like, as long as it's profitable and you have it under contract, the bank, they're blind to it. They don't care. They're getting their money's worth, right?
oh, okay. So now, so how many houses do you have at this point?
2, but hopefully, buying a third, um, sometime within the next few weeks. I put in an offer yesterday.
Well,
It turns out
congratulations.
somebody beat me by a few hours to the offer. So I'm waiting to
Oh,
see if they back out, because there was a cash offer, right? That's a pretty big investment. Mine wasn't cash. So if they decide to go with it, I have like two or three more routes I could take. But
uh-huh.
if they back off, I'm taking it. So we're just waiting to see right now.
So now, as you get all these houses under your belt, are you managing them yourself, or are you going to pay a manager to oversee all? Because you're renting them all, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm renting all the houses from now on. I plan on living in this one until I'm done with the oil field completely. Um,
Mhm.
But I have a management company right now. I'm using RE1 here in Midland, and basically they take 10% of the total rent. So my first house, I'm paying 1,200 on it. It was 5% down on that house, so it's my profit margin is not going to be good regardless. I didn't
Uh-huh.
put a whole lot of money down. So I paying 1,200 a month. I rent it for 15, and I give RE1 $150 to manage it completely. I don't even get a call for it.
I mean,
So
that's
it's
not.
really not too bad. No, and when
Yeah.
you're talking about, you're paying $1,000 and you're renting it for 1,800 because he put 20% down. and you give them 180 and you're still pocketing $400, $500, $600, it's not bad at all. I don't have the wide profit margin because of 5% down on my first house.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's all progress. It gets better as you
Yeah.
get along.
Yeah.
And then do you get nervous thinking about, you're gonna have 10 houses? What if, like, 4 of the tenants fuck off?
If it's 4 out of 10, you should be able to cover the 4, right? If you're
Uh-huh.
making
With the
$500 a
others.
pop, yeah. But if you're like, okay, I have 4 houses and 4 of them are gone, that becomes a different situation. But the benefit of that is the way that they sell you a house is like a 30% rule, right? So you only 30% of your income can be towards your house payment. So the way that works with the rentals is, if 2 of them go out, like if my first house goes out right now, it's $1,200 a month. I'm already saving more than 12,000 or $1,200 a month right now. It would just go to the
Hmm.
house until somebody picks it up. And I've
Yeah.
collected some profits off that. Hopefully I didn't spend them. They're sitting around somewhere. That's a little bit of a blanket or a buffer, right? So then if
Uh-huh.
2 of them go out, I'm still doing more than that. I should be okay with 2. And then if you have more rentals or whatever, higher profit margins, that means you have more of a buffer. Yeah, it can be spooky, but the way I avoid doing that is I don't have luxury homes, right? I don't have some 6-bed, 5-bath mansion or whatever that I'm paying for. They're all like 2-1, 1-1. There's always going to be somebody looking for a house. There's going to be
Uh-huh.
somebody that started a family, or they got married and they don't want to be in an apartment anymore, or they're coming to Midland to work, right? Oil field, working towns, college towns, military towns. They're always
Hmm.
going to have renters. No matter what the economy looks like, you're good. So that's
Yeah.
what I try to focus on.
Okay. Well, I mean, scared money doesn't make money, right?
Amen.
So now another new endeavor that you've taken recently is day trading.
Yes, I'm watching one right now.
So how is that going for you? I got a buddy that does that. That's how he lives, is off of that.
Yeah. Now, I haven't quite figured it out to the point where I could live off it, but I did pass my eval. It took me 3 tries to pass the top step eval, which is like the test you take before they actually give you real money and you can take a payout. So I started out on Robinhood, turned $25 into $3,900, kind of over like 2 months, trying to learn. I don't learn very well unless there's consequences, right? So I threw my
Yeah.
own money into there, and I was like, okay, I either figure it out or I lose my money, and I value my money too much to not figure it out.
Yeah.
So I figured it out slightly, built up my Robinhood account. And I was like, I'm going to go for an eval right now, start of the new year. So I got my eval, I believe, right after Christmas, passed it January 2nd. And I just took my first trade in it. I'm up $22, but that was it. I was
Well,
like, I
there
just
we
want to
go.
see
Stay
green.
green, right?
Yeah, I just want to see green. So it's going good, but I'll be using it to hopefully buy more houses and stuff with. I see
Yeah.
this as a way to make lump sums of money pretty quick. Because, I'm on my eval, I made like $4,500 in a day on my eval. And I was like,
So now at
okay,
that point, that's not real money, right?
it's fake money, man. It
Yeah. So
sucks,
now,
dude.
do you think that possibly when you're doing that, they make it more enticing to get you into it, or
No, the stock market doesn't lie, right? It's
yeah?
actual
So
stock
you're
market
going off the
movements.
actual numbers.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
all
okay.
live. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it technically could have been. So I made like $4,500 the first day, which I believe was like, what was that? 2,250 or something like that, on 2 accounts. And then the next day I made like $3,600, and I passed my eval like that. And I was like, okay.
Oh,
I was like, this is possible.
yeah. No, I was watching when you were doing when you were leaning up to it, and I mean every day was looking pretty damn impressive. So.
Yeah, yeah, and when he figured the Robinhood stuff, like all those numbers I had behind me, all my green days, that's with
Mhm.
one contract. Like with a funded account, I'm not trading with one. I could trade with 5, I could trade with 10. So you basically take all those days and multiply them by 10, right? A $265 day is 2,650. And then if you have more
Yeah.
than one account, you just multiply that by how many accounts you have.
Uh-huh.
It's crazy money if you could figure it out, and I'm still trying to do that.
Yeah. So do you gotta let it sit for a little bit, right? Is there a point where you are watching it and you're like, "Oh god, I think it's peaked. I'm gonna take it."
Yeah, sometimes, and I don't mind getting out, halfway through a move. I'll trail my stop loss up with it. And if it's like, oh, it's going to come down and it's going to bounce back, I'm out when it comes down. And when it starts to turn back around, I try to get back in. So even on $100
Oh,
move, you could
gotcha.
actually make like 110, right? Because it came down and then went back up. So if everybody
And then
held
you
from
get
the
back in
bottom,
with it.
it's $100. But if not, it's extra profit. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
I try to secure the money whenever I can, right? I don't like to see it go red.
Yeah. For me, it would be I'd probably watch it and then watch what it becomes, and then I'd be like, "Oh
Mhm.
god." You know, you're
Yeah, I shouldn't have got
but
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and so also, so it sounds like you got a couple book it sounds like you got one book and you're writing another one, is that right?
Yeah, so, I wrote my first book actually, again, because of motivational coach Dev. He was writing, I believe, an oil field book, how to get into the oil field or something, and I saw that and I was like, "Man, I didn't know you could just write a book and post it," right? I thought
Yeah.
there was, like, this huge process or whatever, and I was like,
Well, you
let
gotta
me
be an
try to
author,
write one."
right?
Yeah, so it took me 3 days. I think I wrote like 60 pages or something about finances, kind of just like how I started to think about my finances and how I kind of built the relationship, my budget, my goals, all that fun stuff. And wrote that in like 3 days, put it on Amazon. Had a handful of people tell me that, really enjoyed it and everything. I definitely wish I would have put more effort into it, but I feel like it was a good like first
Uh-huh.
pamphlet. I'm not going to call it a book, as a pamphlet, right? 50 pages, whatever.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, I posted that. It did pretty well. I think it's like 4.7 stars or something on Amazon. It's only like 4 reviews, right? So then
Yeah.
finished that, and I was like, my dream has always been to write a fantasy book. I'd love to get it traditionally published rather than Amazon. And I think
Uh-huh.
I'm 186 pages in. I feel like I'm about a quarter of the way through the story. Um, and it's just a matter of finding the time to sit down and write. We don't
Yeah.
really have the blessing of having a bunch of time on our hands.
No, it's you
Yeah,
either got money and no time or all the time and no money. So you
exactly.
pick the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah, but yeah,
So are
it's
you a reader?
interesting.
Is that what got you in? You always been reading
Oh yeah,
books?
oh yeah. My
Yeah.
whole life, I to this day, I've got books I like stole from my third grade teacher, right? Like in
Yeah.
the classroom or whatever. I read it and I was like, yeah, it's coming home with me, man. And I feel Miss Stevenson, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. But yeah, I have like 15 of her books, right? It's got the Miss Stevenson on the inside. And from that day on,
That's
like
awesome.
I was always collecting books, public libraries, whatever. I'd go in there and spend hours. I was always like fantasy, sci-fi. And just recently I've gotten into more like philosophy and poetry, all that stuff, mixing that in with my fantasy sci-fi. And yeah, currently I'm reading The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. Just finished Lonesome Dove, which is an amazing western. I finished
Uh-huh.
that, went into Way of Kings, did a couple books out of the Dark Tower series. So I try to read whenever I can. I think it's very, very important.
Yeah. I used to read a lot when I was a kid, and then I unfortunately got out of it, and I kind of fall under I kind of like to watch it more than read it. I don't know if that's really
It's never too
great,
late to
but
start, man.
right.
Yeah.
It cracked me up. You had a couple videos it's a couple week ago or so. I don't know when you actually made the video, but you were talking about how you kept trying to take this book to location with you, and every time you would take it, you'd always have a late day. Dude, if that's not oil filled, like straight up, or even you go and you try and make a plan. Like I had my
Yes.
fiance, she came into town, and I didn't say anything to anybody. I just played it out in my head just to see. And she
Yeah.
came into town. The rig I was on, it was on the farthest well that we do from town that rig goes to. Up until the day she left, and then we moved a half a block from my apartment.
Yeah, that checks out, man. Yeah, it always works like that. Lord forbid you want to go to the grocery store, you got a haircut or something. I was almost late to the closing of my house, And I was like, "Hey, boss, listen, I gotta go, man." I
It
was
is important.
like, yeah, but Lord forbid I take a book out there and it's just collecting dust or whatever, because I drive around with my windows down, listen to music, and it just sits in the passenger seat rattling around. And I'm like, dude, I was not able to get to that today. My 8 hour day turned into a 13-hour day, and I'm going home exhausted. The book's still in the truck, and never got to read it.
Yeah. So you and Eli, you guys do the same job, right?
Yes, yeah, we're both pipeline technicians. He's a little south of me. He's down in Pecos area, I believe, with his stations, and
So did you
I'm in
guys happen
Midland,
to know each
Odessa.
other before TikTok or no?
No, not at all. I met Eli off TikTok. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, I think the only person I've met off TikTok is my real estate agent right now, Brandon. So everybody else I'm still completely new to this. Haven't met anybody. I know a couple of the guys have met each other, but not me.
Yeah. Well, so I have an idea because so Jorge or George, whatever, I'm not really sure
I call him
what
Jorge, man. He's never corrected me. I don't know.
yeah, I've heard people call him Jorge. I've heard people call him George. I brought
Mhm.
this up on Eli's episode too. I think we'd all get together and do because we all kind of pop out and we all interact and intertwine all the time.
Yeah.
Um, I'll even come down to Texas and we should all get together and do like a hog hunt or something.
All right. Yeah, that sounds good. I know. Yeah, because you can do like those bachelor trips or whatever at some of those ranches. They'll give
Yeah,
you a
I'm
pretty
doing
good
trying to shoot
discount.
some hogs out of a helicopter, dog.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good time to me. We'll have to plan on that. Hopefully, hey, maybe my day trading funds will pay for it. We'll see.
Hey, there you go. And so when I first met Jorge, that was his thing. As we met on TikTok, I just noticed his profile, and it kept showing up, kept showing up. So then I reached out to him, and I found out that he was up in Williston, which I live. I work
Mhm.
in a little town called Watford, and so when we realized we were so close, um, we got together and got some drinks and stuff. And he's like, "Here, bro, I got you. My TikTok's got it covered." And it's just kind of a badass feeling. And at that time I had
Yeah.
just started, and didn't have anything. And now I can do the same thing. I've done a couple things where I've gone out and my TikTok has paid for it. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. I catch myself thinking that a little too often, and I'm like, all right, all the times I went out there and TikTok covered it. TikTok might not be covering it anymore.
Right. Yeah. I haven't gotten
Yeah.
to that point yet where it's like, crazy amounts of money. It's just a
Yeah.
couple fun ones. One thing I did want to do is with all my TikTok money, I want to like invest it or something, because
Mhm.
it's free money in a sense. So it would
Yeah.
be an easy way to get into investing without, sacrifice. Investing's not a sacrifice, I guess, more or less from our money. But it's
Yeah.
easier to, put it in and try it out with it. At least what I was
100%.
thinking.
That's yeah, I mean, that's really what I do. Like my budget, every time I write out my budget, it has nothing to do with TikTok money, YouTube money, Amazon, day trading, nothing. It's just off my W-2, right? That is all of
Yeah.
my budget. And then all of the extra, the TikTok income, all the other things that come in, it's like, do you buy gold and silver with it? Do you throw it in the stock market, crypto, whatever? Because it's not going towards a house because you have to
Yeah.
prove where it comes from and all that fun stuff. So, throwing it into like your Roth IRA or whatever at the start of the year, if you can get 7 grand out of it, it's just free money that you can throw at something. Obviously, taxes, you have to pay those eventually.
Yeah. So how much are you
Yeah.
saving out of your TikTok money or whatever for taxes?
I do 30%, right? Because
Yeah.
as much as we pay off our W-2s, usually you
Hmm.
get some type of return, and it's like that would cover the extra. 30% is more than the income, right? I'm not paying my benefits or my retirement with it. So
Hmm.
30%, 6% more than what it should be. So that
Yeah.
should be fine. Yeah.
Doesn't that make you want to throw up a little bit?
Yeah, it's I think on my second page I posted a video about abolishing income tax. I think it needs to
I
happen.
love that one. Somebody commented, he's like, dude, I'm years ahead of you, dude. But
Yeah.
yeah, so do you have any plans like as far as, taking your TikTok audience and, your YouTube or whatever and turning it into something of a monetization gain out of the TikTok realm?
Like some type of like course or something?
E-course
Or
or
like
just anything, that
yeah,
you've got
like a
a bit of
brand of
an
clothes or
influence, a bit of
something.
a group. I
Yeah.
started this podcast off of it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I know Eli and I've kind of been chit chatting about potentially doing like some type of podcast or YouTube thing with finances, like budgeting and all that, like Caleb Hammer style.
Yeah, he got
And just
into it with me
doing
a little bit.
yeah, and just doing like blue collar people. They come in, here's your budget, whatever. We'll try to get you set up, kind of thing. We've
Like in
talked about
person, you
that.
mean?
Maybe, maybe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I was also like, dude, I was like, we're so close, I could set something up, have an office, just me and you, and we get information from people. Oh, here's my budget, here's what I make, whatever. I was like, we could do something like that too. So that's kind of
Uh-huh.
in the works. But honestly, between my two TikToks, I just created my YouTube page not too long ago, posted my first video to it. Between all those, and then I got my gaming YouTube and all this other stuff and the writing. I was like, I'm too busy to make something else, man.
Yeah. There's, stretching yourself too thin.
Yeah.
But, there's something to be said about, and the first time I heard this years ago, I was just like, whatever. But the more streams of income you have, the more powerful it becomes. I mean,
Mhm.
God forbid something happens to your W-2. If you have enough side gigs going on, boom, you don't go back to a W-2. You just take over and do your own thing.
100%. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't focus on that side hustles, right? The side incomes. People are like, it's so surprising how fast like a couple $20, right? You get $20 here, $20 there, a couple times a week, whatever. All of a sudden, at the end of the month, you got $200-300 extra, right? That can pay your
Hmm.
car. And
Hmm.
that's how I view all my like side incomes and stuff, right? Like I was telling, I think in one of my videos, I was kind of explaining it. It's like, first of the month, everything in my account gets wiped out, right? I got two mortgages that come out, all my utilities, credit card payments, pay in full every month, car, all that ripped out. And then like throughout the rest of the month, it's like two checks from the job, Amazon check, YouTube check, two TikTok checks, right? Brand deal checks. My rental income comes in on the 15th. And like all of a sudden, I'm like $9,000 higher than what I was at the start of the month. And
Yeah.
it's like sometimes like I forget about it, and then I go look at my account. I'm like, oh crap! Like what are we doing right now? Where'd all this come from? And you got to like backtrack it. But it's like little things I do throughout the month. I post a YouTube video on my gaming page. I post a YouTube video on my other one. The TikTok stuff, I do it every single day. And all of a sudden that comes in on the 15th. And you're like, oh, that was nice. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. So you got to
Yeah,
do a reverse budget.
kind of. Yeah.
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 So now I've been seeing a few of you guys pop this up. Uh, you guys have been messing with Landman and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
do you know Big Mo?
Uh-uh.
Do you know who I'm talking about? So a buddy that I had that worked on a rig with me for a little bit, he's in Texas. He was in a Landman commercial.
Really?
Yeah, they did his crew made the cut, and they did this little, like, what we mean to our family and stuff,
Yeah.
commercial for him. And then you and Jorge and everybody's doing all these Landman ads and stuff. And
Yeah.
how are you guys getting into that? That's awesome.
Yeah, so Wolverine reached out. Wolverine has this, they're in a lot of the Landman episodes. I don't know if you've noticed, like on the rig, the guy's a Wolverine hard hat stickered. All the boots, I believe, in the show are all Wolverine, at least the work boots.
Uh-huh.
The last episode, he's driving through town on one of the like stickers on a window of a gas station. You can see a big Wolverine sticker. So they've got this like partnership with Landman right now. And they originally reached out to me and they were like, hey, like first episode comes out, you're doing all this oil field stuff. We want to get like boots in the field. Like what's going on? What does it look like? And I did that first video. And then after that, they've hit me up a couple more times. I believe I'm gonna be doing another one too for the finale. And they're like, hey, we just want a video like recapping this thing within the episode, right? So like I did the H2S scene and that video
Yeah, when
blew
you
up,
were
right?
in the living room and stuff.
Yeah, so I did that one. I talked about the generations of the oil field. Landman has like three generations, right? The father, son, and then his son, Cooper, all have worked in the oil field. And then like my dad, my grandpa both worked in the field, and now I'm out here doing it. So that was like something I related to pretty heavily. And I was
Yeah.
like, that could make a good video. And we talked about it back and forth. They let me go with it. And then we're going to see what happens with this finale. I don't know what I'm going to be talking about right now.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
all your videos when you do it with them,
Mhm.
with Wolverine, I mean, that I can tell your videos are notched up. They're looking good. So
I appreciate it, man.
yeah, you got some good videos going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy. It just comes back to the potential of TikTok. It's just this stupid app, but
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
insane, right? Like I never once thought like these companies I'd been buying from, right? Like I've already consuming their products. And all of a
mhm.
sudden they're like, "Hey man, like you want some product? You want us to do video or whatever? Can we pay you to do?" I'm like, "What are y'all talking about?" Right? Like I picked up Cattleman's Cut for years at the gas station. I loved them. And then I see them in my DMs and I'm like, dude, what is going on right now? I thought it was a
Yeah,
fake, and they don't have like a big TikTok presence. So I thought it was fake. And then I click on their link tree and it goes to their Instagram. Then they hit me up on there and they're like, "Hey, we're following up because you didn't respond to us on TikTok." And I was like, "Whoops, my bad, guys. I thought y'all were fake, man."
that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
my fiance, she's real good at all this stuff. And so, Dick Frost, he was on my first
Mhm.
episode. She told me the day that I decided to really do this TikTok stuff, she said, "You need to get a hold of Dick Frost. Like, I
Mhm.
don't know what you need to do, but get a hold of him somehow." And I was like, yeah, yeah, whatever. And next thing you know, him and I are going back and forth, and then I go on his podcast, and then I start my podcast, and he comes on the first episode, which I was super grateful for.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's crazy when just, the people, I mean, you were one of the people I looked up to, Jorge, now it's like we pretty regularly conversate, and it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, we're all regular people at the end of the day, but it's these figures that you see and you want to be, in the same place that they're at. And it's just crazy, just the grind behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of insane the little community we've built, right? Like
Yeah.
when I first started, man, it was Tyler Allison out of Canada. I don't know if you've seen his videos. He's on the offshore rigs for a long time.
Oh, a little bit,
I s
yeah.
Yeah, I saw his videos like a ton, and I was like, "Okay, like, this is something that people talk about." I was like, "That's interesting." Never thought much
Uh-huh.
about it, and then I started seeing motivational coach Dev, and I was like, "Oh, this is picking up some traction, like, this dude's got it going on," and then I started seeing Jorge Carly, and I was like, "Okay, let me start posting because like, all these dudes are, like, on rigs, flowback, whatever, that's kinda what they're talking about. I was like, "I have a different perspective on this," right?
Yeah.
Midstream side. And I started talking about it, and I was like, nobody's talking about the finance game here too. So I started talking about that. Obviously, that kind of blew up. I have a few videos that did really well with that. But ever since then, like, getting to talk to Dev, getting to talk to Jorge, I've chit chatted with Tyler Allison a couple times, and then you guys got guys like Dick Frost and stuff. He actually reached out to me back when I had like 20,000 followers, and he just got buried in my DMs. And I followed him back, right? And I went to message him. I'm like, dude, I want to get on this podcast, man. And I click message, and his message is sitting in there since like March. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry, man.
That's awesome. No, dude,
Yeah.
he's a great podcaster. He's fun. He'll take us in places that you're not expecting it for sure.
Yeah, I get to do his. He just messaged me. I guess he was busy because he was wanting to do it tonight, and I was like, "Man, I'm doing Powder Slayers tonight." I was like, "We're
Oh,
gonna do another day,
shit.
man." So I get to go on his pretty soon. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, just I mean, so like, Blue Collar George? Have you heard of
I
him?
don't I don't know for sure.
So he's not in the oil field, but he's like a blue collar figure as well.
Uh
He's got some funny shit. Look him up. But
okay.
I'm supposed to be having him come on with me, and I got motivational dev, and I'm actually gonna have Veritas and 40 rigs that I've talked
There
to
you go.
both of them. So
Yeah,
yeah, so there's a lot of things in the works. But yeah, just I want to thank you, man, for your time and all just the help along the way, dude. You've helped me with a lot of stuff that you don't even
absolutely, man.
realize that you've helped with. So real quick, I'm asking everybody this. I got one more question for you. So if you could go back to your 10-year-old self with everything that you know now, what is one thing that you would tell yourself back then that you know now?
Outside of like buy Bitcoin, right?
Dude, that's exactly what Eli said. That's exactly
Yeah, I
what
mean,
Eli said.
outside of that, man, pursue everything. That's the one thing I tell myself, right? Like, don't go into anything half-assed. Like, there's no reason for it. There's a quote that I love that says, You've already staked your life on the table. Why would you not bet on yourself? Right? The house always wins. One day we're leaving here. There's no
Yeah.
reason to be like, I don't know if I want to do like I do want to do that, but I'm kind of there's no reason for it. Like go pursue it at every opportunity. Wake up every single day and get a little bit closer to it. If you can do that, like everything in life becomes not only significantly easier, you'll find way more progress in life. You'll stop putting things off. And even if it's something like silly, right? Taking out the trash, go pursue it. You're like, I'm going to knock this out and it's going to feel good afterwards. I may not want to do it right now, but it'll feel good afterwards. And then my day
Mhm.
feels better. And you can start stacking that. And it's all just progress, right? Everything in life is momentum. And I don't think enough people take that seriously. They're like, oh, I'm going to start something. And then they stop and it kind of falls back. And then it's harder to start back up, right? Because you've built up that snowball. Next time you go back to push it, it's going to be harder. But
Yep.
if you can keep it going, that weight doesn't matter. It's just going to keep going by itself. And one day you'll be able to let it go and be like, yeah, look at that. I created that. That's cool. So
Yeah.
I would tell myself, pursue everything 100%.
Awesome. Well, I like it, dude. Um, they say hindsight's 2020, but
100%.
it's crazy if you could go back to then. That's Dick. I got an idea from him. He has a question at the end. He asked somebody, and I've always been intrigued with that. If you could go back and talk to yourself, with
Yeah.
everything you've learned.
Yep.
But all right, brother. Again, I appreciate your time. Where can everybody find you? You've got a
Oh,
plethora
man.
of stuff.
Yeah. Kody Overcash on TikTok, Kody Overcash 2.0 on TikTok, Kody Overcash on YouTube, Kody Overcash on Instagram. Just got to search my name. And
Now,
you
what
can find my
about
link
Kody
tree.
Overcash 3L? I ran
Yeah,
into
that's
that
not
one
me.
today.
That's not me.
Yeah, that one followed my podcast today. I was like,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Jokes on everybody. All of the fake accounts are me, right? I'm just sitting out there just chatting it up with everybody.
Yeah.
But
And
no, all
then
my
when do
legit
you
stuff.
have an idea with your new book when you're trying to get that out?
Sometime this year. I'm really hoping I could finish a story and have it in somebody's hands to publish it by the end of the year. That's kind of my goal. It's a 600-page book. It's going to take some time, but I could sit down and knock out a few pages a day or something. It'll go pretty quick.
Yeah.
So hopefully within the year we'll see.
All right. Well, I look forward to it, and I'm going to look for both of those books.
I appreciate it,
But
brother.
all righty. Well, my daughter is ready for some dinner. So, guys, again, that is another episode of Off the Clock with Powder Slayer. Peace.